Hello, fellow readers. Merry Christmas. I'm Jen Spencer, and this is Jen Spencer's 10-Minute Book Club. Hi, readers. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Welcome to my book club, a special Christmas edition with New York Times bestselling author RaeAnne Thayne. You are going to love listening to what RaeAnne has to say about books and writing. She is a mentor and an inspiration for me, and she has a really special Christmas book coming out. Remember, if you ask a question or leave a comment in the comment section below, you'll automatically be entered to win a copy of RaeAnne's new book, Sleigh Bells Ring, the hardcover, and a copy of my new book, 6 Kisses for Christmas, that I wrote with my sisters. 6 romantic Christmas stories just for you that you will love. So I am so excited to introduce to you RaeAnne Thayne. Welcome, RaeAnne. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, I'm thrilled to be here. It's great to see you and great to talk to you.
It's so great to talk to you. RaeAnne is just one of my inspirations for so many things, such a highly successful author and an all-around wonderful person. I just admire you so much. So will you tell the readers about yourself and your writing, and we'll just go from there.
Sure, that's a kind of a broad question. So
Yes.
I've been writing for about 31 years. I started when I was in newspapers. I was a newspaper reporter and editor. And when my husband and I had our first daughter, who will be 32, I guess, in next year, I wanted to do something I could do at home with her so that I didn't have to leave her. I hated leaving her with the babysitter, and I had always sort of dreamed about writing a romance novel. And so I kind of sat down then and started, and it took me 5 years, I think, to publish. I've been published for 26 years. I just finished, I'm working on my 70th book right now. And so I've been around for a while, and I wrote romantic suspense for the first part of my career. I did probably 25 books that were more considered romantic suspense, and then I switched. I was finding that I really was focusing more on the emotional journey of my characters and about the community that they were in and the little towns that they lived in, and so I actually started really focusing on that part of my books. And so I've been writing kind of small town books, sweet small town romantic stories, and women's fiction now. I've started doing some women's fiction a little bit. I still consider them romance, but my publisher, I think, considers them women's fiction. Kind of romance plus, I guess, is what I
Well, I love that, and your books are the characters are so beautifully drawn and beautifully written. And that's kind of how I feel too. And I have thought about dabbling in romantic suspense, and it is a great category, right? But I do love more exploring the characters and exploring the relationships of different people. So
I do too. I mean, I miss that romantic suspense sometimes because there was always something to drive the plot, which helped drive the characters. And so when you write without that element, it's a lot harder to come up with conflicts that are compelling enough to keep a story going, through the whole book. And so I think people who write romantic suspense, that's a great option because you can focus on the bad guys or focus on the scary parts more than I.
It's definitely easier to create a conflict. Yeah. For sure. Do you write exclusively for Harlequin? Is that who all your books are?
Yes, I do. My first 5 books were for Bantam Love Swept back in the day when they had a romance line that was in print. And that's where I started out. But they kind of discontinued that line right about the time I was looking to write for 2 publishers. So I'd already sort of had a foot in the door at Harlequin, Silhouette at the time. And so I've had the same editor for, right now we're looking at about 65 full-length books together and a bunch of novellas and things like that. So yeah, I've been with the same person, and which is, I think, kind of a rarity in this business, that it's been 27 years of a relationship that we've had together.
That's amazing. So you obviously have a good relationship.
Yeah, it's a great relationship. Yep.
So tell me about your books. Just tell me about the one you're going to give away, but
Okay.
just your books in general. Just they are so much fun and this beautifully romantic. So
Oh, thank you. So I've done a couple of different series for HQN. So I had a Hopes Crossing series that had about 7 books in it. Then I did a Haven Point series that ended up with 11. I didn't plan to write that many, but that's sort of the way it worked. And they're basically just set in small town west of the US, fictional towns that I create. And then my publisher wanted some hardcovers from me. And so I kind of created a town called Cape Sanctuary on the Northern California coast. And I do one of those a year. That's a little deeper story. There's usually 2 or 3 storylines woven through the story. And then I'm also doing a couple of standalone Christmas books. I've done a few of those. So I had one last year that's out in paperback this year that is Christmas at Holiday House. And then my one that's coming out or that will be out this year for the holidays, it's called Sleigh Bells Ring, and those come out in trade paperback. And these 2 are standalone. You don't have to read any other books to know what's going on. They're basically just one-off stories. The Sleigh Bells Ring is set in Star Valley, Wyoming, which you're probably familiar with. It's
love Star Valley.
It's not that far from us. It's a couple-hour drive for me, and it's right outside of Jackson Hole. You have to drive through a beautiful canyon to get to Jackson Hole, and it centers on this beautiful luxury ranch that this man had. Loved it there. There were some tragic things that happened to his family. The patriarch of the family passed away recently, and so the caretaker of the ranch is a girl whose father was the foreman when she was young, and the family has not been there except this man who passed away. So she didn't expect anybody to come for Christmas. She ends up with temporary custody of her twin niece and nephew and brings them to the ranch because she doesn't know what else to do with them. That's her job. She has to be there. And the whole family comes of this guy who passed away to say goodbye to him. And so there she is with these kids who aren't supposed to be there. And it's just kind of a sweet, tender story. There's a couple of storylines in it that I think are really tender, and it's a standalone. Like I said, you can just and probably read it in a couple of nights, and that's, I love those at Christmas time. That's my favorite thing to do at Christmas time, is just dive into a great romance.
Me too. I love, and you can't, when you read your books, you just feel your tender heart, especially for kids. You can tell you love kids,
I do.
animals,
and the dogs and kids.
dogs. Yes. I love that so much. Well, so tell me what was the book that got you on the New York Times bestseller list?
That was actually a Christmas book as well, and it's one of my favorite Christmas books. It was called Christmas in Snowflake Canyon. I'm trying to remember what the title. I don't have a copy of that here, but it was part of my Hopes Crossing series, and it was I was basically the heroine of that one had been the villain through a lot of the other books, so it was sort of a redemption story for her. And then the hero was this damaged hero that I just really fell in love with, and so I was really thrilled that one hit the New York Times. That was when they used to have a mass market paperback list, just a paperback list, I guess it was. And they no longer have that one. Well, they do a monthly list now, so it's a little bit harder to hit with my books, but we'll keep trying. And they usually hit when they come out, when they're reprinted. I usually hit on the monthly mass market list, which is such an honor to me. It's one of those things I never really expected in my career, and it's really an honor to me whenever that happens.
Oh yes. Well, I just think that's so amazing. I bet you just jumped up and down and
I've told you this, I think I've told you this story, but it was such a strange, surreal time, and it still kind of feels surreal. But my mother died unexpectedly at the end of September of that year. My book was coming out in like a few weeks after my mom died. No, sorry, and then my dad died like 5 weeks after that. So it was actually after the week that my dad died that my book hit the New York Times. So it'd been such a stressful fall. He was on hospice. We kind of knew, 2 weeks after my mom passed away, we knew he wasn't going to be much longer. And so, yeah, he died. And then I found out he died on a Saturday, and I found out the next Wednesday that I hit the New York Times.
I had not heard that story. That is very sweet.
It kind of put it all in perspective, that it's really great to have these honors, but the first thing I wanted to do was call my parents and tell them, and they weren't there. So,
yeah. Oh, man. Oh, that just
my mom was a huge reader. She was the one who introduced me to romance. She loved romance novels, and she was so proud of me and just told everyone she knew about her daughter the author, and so I know that they saw, I know that they know, that the
Yeah.
steps my career has taken since they passed away, but it's still one of those things you wish you could share with your loved ones.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. That's how my mom is. She's my biggest fan. And I just love it. She has all these friends. Oh, is this your daughter, the author? Yes.
Well, I'm lucky that I have 4 sisters and 2 brothers, and they have sort of stepped up as my biggest fans now. So they're the ones out there telling everyone about my books.
As they should. They are amazing. Well, we are almost done. I just wanted to ask you a couple of fun questions. What is your favorite or one of your favorite romantic movies?
So I'm torn on this because I have 2 that I always love. I love Beauty and the Beast, so I like the animated one. That was always my favorite. But I've actually kind of really come to enjoy the live action one of those 2. When I first saw it, I didn't like it very much, but as I've seen it again on Disney Channel, I really like it. And then my other one would be Pride and Prejudice, the Keira Knightley version. I love that one, and I watch that usually every couple of years. I'll put that on and watch it.
I think that's so well cast. It just feels like Pride and Prejudice in fast motion, but
Yeah,
the production value is beautiful in that show. So that's good. Beauty and the Beast, that makes me think of one of my favorites is Tangled.
I love that one too.
So romantic. Yeah. And I never even think of those animated ones, but that one is so cute. Okay, so you're stuck on a desert island. Would you rather have a lifetime supply of chocolate or a lifetime supply of toilet paper?
I would probably pick the chocolate because the toilet paper, you can use leaves if you have to, but if you have nothing to eat, I can't live without chocolate. So
yeah, that is very good. And it's kind of a silly question because I don't know where you're going to get either chocolate or toilet paper.
I know if someone's supplying you with chocolate, then they could get you off the island, right?
That's right. Exactly.
It'd be hard without books, though. I think if you added books in there, I'd pick books every time. I'd have books over chocolate, because being stuck on a island with nothing to read would make me crazy.
I agree. But then I think that question of which book. Well, you just have to have your Kindle with.
Yeah, a Kindle with unlimited supply.
That's exactly right. Well, RaeAnne, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure talking to you. And readers, remember, if you ask a question or make a comment below, you'll automatically be entered to win a copy of RaeAnne's new book, Sleigh Bells Ring, which sounds amazing. And one of my books that I wrote with my 5 sisters, 6 Kisses for Christmas. So please ask and comment as you want. And thank you so much for being here, RaeAnne. Thank you for having me.